When I first set up my plan to become a full-time artist by the end of 2025, I made it a goal to sell at 3 in-person locations a month. For the last 5 months, I've been 0% of the way toward reaching that goal, but in the month of June, I literally went 0 to 100 because my work was sold at 3 in-person events. My sweet friend Amber, who sells incredible leather work under the name Cotton Mane and Leather Wing, sold my prints at Southern Indiana Pride and Kentuckiana Pride. She's always been so incredibly supportive of my work, and it was an honor to have some of my art featured along her and other local artists' work. This month, my work was also featured in an art vending machine set up at the American Sign Museum by Tracy and Jessica of Otiose Emporium. I'm super excited and super grateful to be part of this, especially because a huge focus of mine this year is to build more of a local presence in Cincinnati. Overall, even with these events, sales definitely felt slow, but I've heard from a lot of you that it's normal for sales to dip in summer. And to be honest, it was kind of nice while preparing for these shows to have a little bit of a break in commissions. And I do feel like I was able to cross more things off of my to-do list than I have in the last couple months. So I completed 6 out of 10 of my monthly goals in June. I met my goal of posting at least 2 times a month on YouTube. This goal will hopefully be easier to hit more consistently now that I'm planning on both posting a monthly recap and a marketing video every month. If you missed it, I did post the intro video for my marketing series, which you can watch here. I'm really excited about this series and I hope you all will tune in. It's going to be really focused on defining the personal identity of your brand and finding the marketing tactics that feel authentic and effective for you, even as we see all these huge shifts in the digital marketing landscape. The next checklist item that I completed was monitoring data, which we always do in these videos. And with that being said, let's get into the data. So on Etsy, I got 934 visits, 6 orders, I made $385, received 138 favorites, and 4 reviews. Most of my favorites and orders came from the listings that are my consistent bestsellers, so my Delft dog portrait, Fox and Crow bookplate drawing, and Fox and Crow shirt. I definitely think Etsy might have featured my Delft listing somewhere this month because there was one day where my views spiked like crazy and I was getting favorites like every single second. I always think it's interesting to see the difference in where the traffic comes for all of these listings. So for example, this Fox and Crow shirt consistently gets traffic from Pinterest, whereas the huge spike in traffic that I got for that Delft listing came from either the Etsy homepage, editor's pick, or another Etsy page that wasn't actual search results. But then my bookplate listing gets most of its traffic from ads. So it's not necessarily that one tactic is the only thing that's working for me. It seems like each listing kind of has one tactic that's working harder for it. All right, let's look at my website. So in the month of June, I had a total of 19 website visits. As always, I suck at driving traffic to my website, and let's be honest, I really haven't marketed my art in the past couple months. I have a feeling that a lot of people who visited my website this month got my name from those in-person events because I did see an increase in direct traffic. I also had 2 people put this print in their cart, which is something I just put on my website and just finished for the purpose of selling at those in-person events. However, neither of those people actually ended up purchasing the print. Despite the low traffic, I still made $46.53 on my sticker subscriptions because those renew every month. And then lastly, looking at YouTube, I got 5,279 views, I gained 111 subscribers, and I made $60.53 in ad revenue. My marketing intro video definitely didn't do as well as I'd hoped. However, the first video in this monthly check-in series also didn't start doing well until it had been up for a while, so maybe it will pick up once I continue with that series. And that's all my analytics for the month because I did not post on social media and I did not send out an email newsletter. Which is a good segue into the 4 goals that I did not complete this month. As I just said, I didn't send an email newsletter, I didn't post on social media, I didn't consistently promote my prints, and I didn't connect with my community. This is kind of what I was afraid of happening a couple months into running my business. I definitely couldn't say that I'm either an introvert or an extrovert. There are times in my life where being social and connecting with people comes really naturally to me and really energizes me. And there are times where really all I want to do is be at home and not post online and not talk to people and just kind of be in my room with my hobbies and my dog. I intentionally built this business around community and connection because those are 2 things that are really important to me. But they do become really hard to keep up with when I get in these moods where I don't feel like talking to anybody and I don't feel like being online. And I'm constantly battling with whether I need to push through that feeling because showing up is something that I've committed to, or whether the right thing to do is to respect my own boundaries and give myself a break. In June, I just let myself have a break and recharge. And honestly, I think it was really good because there had been things on the back end that I'd been putting off for months that I was able to do because I took a step back. Anyway, back to the goals that I did complete. The next goal on my monthly checklist was to make a new print every month, and because I finished my Frog and Scorpion print, I did meet that goal. As I mentioned before, I really wanted to get this piece done before those in-person events because I think in-person events are a really good way to see people's reaction to the piece. And unfortunately, this did not sell at all. In general, my Fox and Scorpion stuff does not sell in comparison to my Fox and Crow collection. So I'm not super surprised, but I do really love this drawing. Obviously, part of the problem is that I didn't post this anywhere. I've never really shared the story behind it, and that's something I want to do a better job with in the future. I do think people would resonate more with my Frog and Scorpion collection if they knew the meaning behind it. But as I've mentioned in the past, talking about, my connection to the piece or the meaning behind a piece is always where I get stuck. It already feels pretty vulnerable to share your art because you're opening yourself up to criticism about your talent, but it feels way more vulnerable for me to share the story behind the piece because then you're kind of opening up your soul for criticism. But that's a fear that I can and really want to conquer. And then the last 2 goals that I completed was taking 1 day off a week and staying focused on my priorities. My focus for the month of June was my marketing series, so I wrote and filmed 2 of those videos and then edited and posted 1 of them. And then I also did some of the pet portrait stuff that I had been putting off for months. I think I mentioned this in my last recap video, but I really want to start doing quarterly resets where I look back at the last 3 months and see what I could change, what I could do different, and then look at the next 3 months and set kind of my main priorities. I'm the type of person who will start going down a million paths but not finish any of them. So I think it would really help me if I was able to narrow in on one thing to focus on for 3 months. So I'm not abandoning the other ideas, but I'm just focusing on one until I get it done. Okay, let's look at my June to-do list. So my goals for June were to reorganize my website, list my pet apparel, start pet collection outreach, and then make a local collection content plan. So I did 2 out of 4 of these. I did reorganize my website. I haven't fully redone it yet, but I did get the overall structure figured out. Previously, it was just sorted by product type. So I just had prints and then gifts and goods, which was like all of the apparel and home decor stuff. But because I now have separate Instagrams for my local collection and my pet portrait collection, I wanted to make sure that those collections had their own landing page that I could link to on those Instagrams. A lot of those products didn't even exist on my website before, so I had to create all of the listings and take pictures of all of those things before I could get them all on my website. So now I have the inventory sorted the way that I want, but I still haven't decided if I want those pages to be fully fleshed out landing pages per collection or if I just want them to be the inventory. And then I guess as part of that, I also did list my pet apparel both on Etsy and my website. So I have this cute little woodland shirt, this embroidered sweatshirt, and then this sketched dog portrait shirt. Pet portraits was initially going to be my main focus for the next couple of months, but because I already posted the intro video for that marketing series, I'm trying to decide whether that should be my main focus until I just get that done, and then I can start focusing on pet portraits. So for that reason, I didn't start doing pet portrait outreach. That's also the same reason that I didn't come up with a local collection content plan, because I'm putting that on the back burner until I fully finish these other 2 priorities. All right, let's look at what's sold, and then we can chart out my progress toward my benchmarks. So between both Pride events, I sold 2 Fox and Crow, 4 Rat Race, and 7 Catnap prints. Again, I am a little bummed that the Frog and Scorpion print didn't sell at all, but I need to do a better job at promoting it, and hopefully eventually it will find its audience. And then as I mentioned, I sold this American Sign Museum postcard wholesale to the vending machine that will be in the gift shop of the American Sign Museum, so I sold 25 of these. So between those 3 events, I made $203, which accounted for 32% of my June sales. And then on Etsy, I sold 3 Delft commissions, 1 sketch commission, a bookplate print, and a Frog and Scorpion sticker. So my total there was $385.50, which was 61% of my June sales. And then on my website, I sold 4 sticker subscriptions for $46.53, which makes up the remaining 7% of sales. And then charting my income per month, I'm just going to combine my website and in-person sales in the website category. So because of that, my website and YouTube revenue increased, but because my Etsy sales were so much lower, my total income did go down this month. And then looking at my benchmarks for this month, I hit 3 out of 6 of my benchmarks, which is the highest it's ever been. I sold 4 commissions, so I was 40% of the way toward my goal of selling 10 commissions per month. I sold 39 prints, so I finally hit my goal of selling 30 prints per month. I'm still at 100% for subscribers and watch time requirements. My 6 Etsy sales got me 20% of the way toward reaching my goal of 30 Etsy sales per month. And then because I sold at 3 physical locations, I reached that goal. However, because I expected to make $4,000 this month and I only made $695, I was 17% of the way toward my revenue goals. Overall, I'm very happy to see that not only did I reach 3 goals this month, I also improved 3 of my benchmarks. So all in all, I would say it was a really good month. All right, lastly, let's talk about my July to-do list. I'm going very light for July because I have a lot of personal stuff going on, and I also don't want to set goals for myself until I do that quarterly reset and figure out what my priorities should be for the next few months. So my to-do list is to make progress on my marketing series, put together a plan for the next quarter, and then figure out what I want to do with my website. So check back in a month and I will go through my plan for this next quarter. I will see y'all then. As always, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for listening.